I'm back with another video. We're going to be doing this reaction video for the tragic downfall of 2010 draft class. So let's get straight to this video. If you haven't already watched the video, I made a video. I can put it right here on the screen, the clip art that shows why I've been gone. If you want to know why it's all out of nowhere just appeared back on YouTube grinding again, you can click that video. It'll be right here. You can go to it. This is not going to be a link. You can't click the picture, but this is the picture of it. It should be the previous video I just made. So you can either finish this video or you can go to that video, watch it real quick, and come back, because it's only a 2-minute video. So whatever you like. I can also put the video at the end of the video if you want, so that if you decide, okay, I just want to watch the whole video, then you can watch the whole video, then it'll be at the end. So you can pick whatever you want. Let's start this video real quick. Let me zoom it in so I can see. All right, let's get it started.
In the 2010 NBA draft, out of all 60 players drafted, only 2 players remain in today's NBA.
Which is very interesting.
In the 2009 draft, there are over 10 players that remain active, and the 2008 class have even more. So what happened to the 2010 NBA draft class? Was it just an overall draft that lacked talent? Was it the effect of unfortunate injuries? Or was it a combination of these reasons and more? Regardless, in the years following the 2010 NBA draft up until this point, a shadow of unfavorable circumstances has been casted over the potential greatness of many of its prospects, where only Paul George and Gordon Hayward remain as active players. But what actually happened to the other players? Welcome to Sportsphere. Let's get into it.
The most tragic thing, bro. It is sad because there's a lot of good players in this draft.
He's like one of the only players left in his draft class.
Me and his teammate, actually. And you don't even know who. Gordon Hayward.
Yep.
We are the last Mohicans.
Before we look at how the individual careers of the players played out, let's take a look at every single draft pick in 2010. Out of the 60 players drafted, only 11 of them had NBA careers lasting a decade or longer. This leaves the remaining 49 players largely considered journeymen, with names you've probably never even heard of. So in this video, we'll be touching on players that have over a decade of NBA experience in this draft class, and decipher exactly what happened to them that led to their seemingly premature exit from the NBA, starting with Lance Stephenson. Lance Stephenson.
What's good, guys? I'm so sorry to stop the video in the middle of the video, but I would love to put you guys on to some new attire for y'all hoopers, for anything that you want to use, accessories, all of these things, for a good clothing brand. I wanted to put y'all on to one of my friends. They got Just Cozy. That's the brand name. Just Cozy. You can see it right here. This is the brand. I just wanted to plug y'all in so that y'all could go to their website, see their clothing. They just dropped some new pajamas. Let me just show you this video real quick. We're back. Those are the pajamas that they got going on. Hopefully y'all like what y'all see in the website. Let's get straight back in the video. All right, I'll see y'all back.
Stephenson was drafted by the Indiana Pacers at pick number 40, which some would consider a steal. Known for his offensive skill set and energy off the bench, Stephenson averaged over 9 points in 23 minutes per game throughout his career. But it was his highlight reel plays and energy off the bench that earned him a beloved reputation around the league, especially in his Indiana and Lakers days. While he had a successful 10-year career, his offensive efficiency declined in his later years, and combined with his lack of overall defensive ability, NBA teams began seeing him as a liability more than an asset, which led to lost interest in re-signing him. Regardless, Stephenson was a very likable player, with a deep bag that was a pleasure to watch. However, his game style lacked longevity, leading to an exit from the NBA at 31 years old, and he would continue his career overseas. Hassan Whiteside was also a notable name drafted in the second round of this draft class, selected as the number 33 pick. Whiteside started his career off with the Kings, and it wouldn't be until 3 years later where he began receiving adequate playing time and would soon prove his ability at the Miami Heat. His peak in his career saw him average 17 points, 14 rebounds, and 2 blocks in the 2016-17 season with Miami. However, despite his success with the Heat, he would later be traded to the Portland Trail Blazers, which Whiteside was rather unhappy with. Regardless, he would have a largely successful season with Portland, averaging 15.5 points, 13.5 rebounds, and almost 3 blocks. However, despite proving to be dominant on the stats sheet, when you observed his game closely, his flaws became evident. Despite having a great offensive feel for the game, Whiteside lacked effort, especially defensively, and struggled with consistent level-headed defensive decisions. As a result, he would then be traded from Portland to Utah, but his weaknesses were still prominent. These issues, along with injuries, ultimately led him to not being re-signed by the Jazz, and he's now out of the league. Nevertheless, Whiteside was still a good player, especially in his Miami Heat days. However, his full potential was largely never met due to prominent defensive flaws. Next up is Avery Bradley, who was selected as the 19th overall pick in the 2010 NBA Draft.
I got a funny story about Avery Bradley. So, Avery Bradley is really, really good. Very, very good. Very, very good. Actually, shouldn't even be, well, I don't know what he's going to say about Avery Bradley. We'll let him get into whatever he's going to say about Avery Bradley. But I have a funny story. I don't usually tell this, but since we family, Dan family, since we family, I'll tell the story. So there was one time where I was at my new apartment called the Gables, and I was at my brother's house. And I was in my brother's apartment with my sister, and we have a mutual close friend named Xavier. So Xavier, he's known for whooping me in 2K, right? And don't let him get a big head, bro. But yes, he's known for whooping me in 2K. Known for whooping me in 2K. But one time, we were playing. I was like, bro, Xavier, maybe not nice for real, bro. You be low key cheesing me, bro. 2K be loving you, low key, like giving you all the plays and everything. So,
I'm asking you, bro. He's spamming the same combo. Yo, Rigby sucks, bro. Even like in a video game, you can just see his play style is just cheesy, bro. Fight me regular. Play a solid neutral.
So he was like, bro, I could bust you with Avery Bradley. I was like, you're not busting me with Avery Bradley. Avery Bradley's good, but he's not he's not a star. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you're not about to bust me with Avery Bradley. This man, I think he scored like 100 points with Avery Bradley. I want to say it was something crazy. And I was like, you got it. You got that.
My fault, OG.
No, ain't no my fault.
My bad, OG. Hey, fool.
For what?
No, matter of fact.
For what?
No, matter of fact.
Hey, for what? But yeah, I just wanted to tell that story real quick because, Xavier, you got me on that one. You got me.
By the Boston Celtics. Bradley later proved to embark on a career that highlighted his defensive ability as his most valuable asset after beginning his career as a Celtic. Known for his relentless on-ball defense and ability to hound opposing guards, Bradley quickly established himself as a premier perimeter defender in the league. Throughout his career, he consistently caught opponents off guard with quick hands, and during his 7 seasons with the Celtics, Bradley also improved on offense and emerged as a reliable scorer and three-point threat, showing valuable contributions on both ends. Following his time in Boston, Bradley had stints with multiple teams, including the Detroit Pistons, Los Angeles Clippers, Miami Heat, and LA Lakers. And while his offensive contribution was quite average, it was his defensive prowess that kept him in the league. That being said, injuries played a significant role in Bradley's downfall. Throughout his career, he would face long stints of recovering from lingering issues, including multiple shoulder and groin injuries, especially in his later years. These setbacks would prove to limit his playing time, and saw him waived after his 2021-22 season with the LA Lakers. Regardless, Bradley still had quite a successful 12-year career, with career averages of 11 points, 2.8 rebounds, 1 steal, 1.7 assists, and shooting almost 37% from 3.
Bradley was nice, bro. He was one of those 2K.
The following notable selection from the 2010 NBA draft class.
Another ad? Am I getting paid for this video? We're back on. Oh no, it's another ad. It's another ad. Yeah, skip this. We're back.
Was the 18th pick Eric Bledsoe.
Okay.
Drafted by the Clippers, Bledsoe proved to have minimal impact in his early days and would prompt him to be soon traded to the Phoenix Suns. And at Phoenix was where he began to prove his worth on both ends of the floor, where he would have his best offensive seasons that later earned him a contract extension. His statistics would peak in the 2016-17 season, with averages of over 21 points, 6.3 assists, 4.8 rebounds, and 1.3 steals, solidifying himself as a rising two-way star in the league. He would continue showcasing his athleticism and defensive ability. However, injuries and inconsistent offensive performances would limit his progress. After being traded to the Milwaukee Bucks, he initially found some success, but soon proved to struggle in the playoffs, particularly with poor offensive outings. Soon, Bledsoe's limitations as a reliable shooter, coupled with his mediocre playmaking abilities, led to a reduced role on the contending Bucks roster. As a result, he was soon traded to the New Orleans Pelicans, but his struggles continued and they didn't stop. After soon being traded again to the Portland Trail Blazers, he would be waived not long after, and that would be the last of his NBA career. Regardless, Bledsoe still had a respectable career and played 12 seasons in the NBA, which tops the vast majority of NBA players in history. The following prominent player in this draft class was Al-Farouq Aminu, who was drafted by the Los Angeles Clippers in 2010. And after just 1 year with the Clippers, he would quickly be traded to the Pelicans. Although Aminu's defensive skills and rebounding made him a valuable role player, he undoubtedly had some offensive limitations. Regardless, his length and defensive versatility would see him remain on the Pelicans team, playing a second unit role, before being traded 3 years later to the Mavericks. And after a brief stint at Dallas, he would then be moved to the Portland Trail Blazers, where he would have his best years. During his time at Portland, his stats would peak in the 2015-16 season, averaging over 10 points, 6 rebounds, almost 2 assists and 1 steal, as well as shooting 36% from 3. After his 4 seasons with Portland playing a prominent role, Aminu would earn a near $10 million a year contract with the Orlando Magic. However, a torn meniscus would soon occur that would kickstart a series of injuries, halting his NBA career not long after. Again, Aminu's 11-year NBA career showed more longevity than most players, but this didn't change him being an overall average NBA player. And for an 8th overall pick, some would even consider Aminu a draft bust. As for the 5th pick of the 2010 draft, DeMarcus Cousins, it would be a completely different story. Matter of fact, Boogie probably has one of the highest peaks as an NBA star out of anyone in this draft class. After being drafted by the Sacramento Kings in 2010, it didn't take long for him to become one of the league's premier offensive centers. Boogie showed Shaq-like dominance as early as his first season, with monster scoring and rebounding numbers every single night. Also having a significant defensive impact, he would soon earn multiple All-Star selections, solidifying his status as one of the most talented big men in the NBA. Cousins would continue his dominance and peak in his 7th and final season with the Kings, where he averaged a ridiculous 27.8 points, 11.5 rebounds, 1.4 steals, and 1.3 blocks. These years with Sacramento later proved to be Cousins' most productive years, and although he found regular season success with Sacramento, going deep in the playoffs proved to be a challenge that was too difficult. As a result of lack of playoff success, among other reasons, a change of scenery seemed imminent, and as a result, Boogie would be traded to the New Orleans Pelicans. After moving to the Pelicans, Cousins would continue to produce big numbers. However, unforeseen injuries, including a torn Achilles tendon, as well as off-court issues, would slowly impact Cousins' career trajectory. After 2 seasons with the Pelicans, he would later appear on the Warriors, Rockets, Clippers, Bucks, then Nuggets. And despite flashes of his former dominance in subsequent stints, injuries and injury concerns limited his time on the basketball court. These challenges, along with some behavioral concerns over the years, led to a decline in his impact. And despite still attempting to earn an NBA contract today, it's clear he's no longer the player he once was. After being drafted by the New Jersey Nets, now Brooklyn Nets, in 2010, Derek Favors showed
Another ad? That is, bro, this editing is good. Bro, y'all better love me. This editing is gonna go crazy. Another ad? Bro, this man is getting paid off me. It is crazy. We are back. Oh my gosh, man is getting paid off me. Bro, you better not get mad and react to this thing. You getting paid.
showed some promise as an athletic and skilled frontcourt player. Favors' rebounding and shot blocking abilities were notable during his time with the Nets, and peaked during his later time at the Utah Jazz, where he played 9 seasons. He was an overall solid all-around big man, but that's all he really proved to be. As his career progressed, factors such as changes in team dynamics, struggling to strive in a role, and lingering injuries slowly contributed to decreased contributions. Favors would later move to the Pelicans from Utah, before later moving back to Utah. And when he returned to Utah in 2020, the Jazz recognized his lack of productivity, and he would begin receiving a much more limited role, averaging just over 16 minutes per game. And after just a season with the Jazz, he was traded to OKC in the 2021 season. And after another season of limited impact, Favors would soon see himself out of the NBA for good. Despite the decline, Favors has still had an above-average NBA career as a big man, with career averages of 10 points, 7 rebounds, and 1.2 blocks in 12 NBA seasons. After being drafted as the second overall pick by the Philadelphia 76ers in 2010, Evan Turner showed promise as a versatile wing player who also had some playmaking ability. Turner continued to develop and had a breakout offensive season with the 76ers, averaging over 17 points. However, there was no denying that these numbers were inflated, because Philly were probably the single worst team in the league at the time. He would later be traded to the Pacers for the tail end of the season, then the Celtics in the subsequent year, and although he would play an effective second unit role on a contending team, his offensive impact still slowly declined over time. Regardless, Turner would still be signed by the Portland Trail Blazers in 2016 to a $70 million contract over 4 years. And even though this contract received some criticism, Turner's well-varied experience and versatile skill set was something the Blazers valued. However, his time at Portland indeed proved to be quite underwhelming, especially with his poor display of shooting. His final season with Portland saw him shoot just over 22% from 3, which was no wonder his hooping duties proved to be in low demand after that season. Despite the fall from his earlier successes, Turner was still an effective player and good leader. However, his career proved to be a very average one overall, with averages of just under 10 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 3.5 assists in his 10 NBA seasons. Finally,
before we even start, look, I got a story. I just want to pause here. I got a story on John Wall too. So before we get into this, I got 2 stories on John Wall real quick. The first one is, I don't know if you guys ever played 2K11, right? I don't know if you ever played 2K11, but if you have played 2K11, you guys don't know exactly what I'm talking about. So when I first started playing 2K, I played 2K12. And when I played 2K12, I seen my brother play it. And he was playing 2K one day, and then he just let me hop on because he left the house. So I just hopped on, played 2K with my player and stuff like that, and played. So I was like, all right, cool. So then after, I kind of got interested in 2K. So I had my mom buy me 2K. I had my mom buy me a whole bunch of 2Ks. So I had her buy me 2K. I remember it was 2K. I want to say it was the one with Chris Paul on it. Then it was KG, I want to say. And then I had 2K10. No, I didn't have 2K10. And I had 2K. Then my brother, I think, gave me 2K11. So I started playing 2K11, and I'll never forget this. If you play My Player, right? You as soon as you hop on, there's this guy on the screen. I didn't know this till now, but it's Stephen A. Smith who voices it. and in the he's on the bottom, and he be telling you like scouting reports basically about the player you're gonna have to guard and play against. So there's a joint we have to play against John Wall, and I'll never forget this because when I first started playing, I was like, man, who's John Wall? Because I seen his tapes. John Wall's tough. So I was like playing the game, and John Wall, right? He was the point guard I had to guard, and I'll never forget this. This man John Wall he would body me because I would keep like pressing him really up, like really far up, and he would blow by me every single time. So I think it was just one play. I was just like, whatever, bro. I'm gonna just sag off him, and then his player was just like, it froze for a second, and then
wow, I need a minute to think about this.
It froze, and it was like it airballed the shot, and I was like, oh yeah, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I said, hold up, I hit the. He said it. I said, shoot it. Oh, went down the next play. I said, one step back, mid-range. I was cooking John Wall in 2K. But I'll never forget that because that experience is so funny because I remember he was cooking me for like the first time I used my player, and then I made another my player, and then I had to deal with him, but that's just such a fun experience I had because the dude in the guy, Stephen A. Smith, when he's making the voiceover, well, the guy in the game, he's like,
going to be seeing a lot of John Wall in this game. What more can be said about this kid? He has size, speed, athleticism. He has it all. Built from the Derrick Rose, Rajon Rondo mode. Your best bet to slow him down is to keep him on the perimeter and force him to hit from outside. He'll gladly live above the rim. Don't give him that opportunity.
John Wall, man, he's one of the best prospects, but he really can't shoot that well. But I never really paid attention to what he was saying. I'm like, bro, get out the screen, bro. I don't want to hear you, bro. And then after that, I started paying attention to everything he said. Bro. Hey, Stephen A. Smith, hey, to get love with Stephen A. Smith, I'm gonna message you. All right, let's get back into this video. It's kind of long. All right, we're back.
Up at number 1 in the 2010 draft, John Wall's NBA career has experienced both a remarkable rise that came quickly crashing down. After being drafted by the Wizards in 2010, he quickly established himself as an electrifying point guard, known for his speed and playmaking ability in his rookie season, averaging over 16 points and 8 assists a game. His game would continue to improve over the years, seeing him earn multiple All-Star selections, and he soon became the face of the franchise. He even led the Wizards to multiple Eastern semifinal playoff appearances, despite falling slightly short of the conference finals on multiple occasions. Regardless, he continued to be a top point guard in the league, and his output would peak in the 2016-17 season, where he averaged 23 points and 10.7 assists. However, near the midpoint of the 2017-18 season, an injury to his left heel would change the entire trajectory of his NBA career for the worst. This injury required major surgery. However, things would go from bad to worse, as an infection would occur as a result of the injury, resulting in the recovery length to be increased further. This proved to be the career-defining moment, and was the primary event that halted his long career. As a result of the injury, Wall would miss half the 2017-18 season, and after returning in the subsequent season, Wall would suffer a ruptured Achilles in the later stages of the 2018-19 season. And considering the length of the recovery being so long, the Wizards were basically forced to later trade him out of Washington, where he would later appear in a Houston Rockets uniform. And it wouldn't be until the 2020-21 season when he would return. And although at Houston he would show some signs of his previous ability prior to the major injuries, it was clear he was no longer the same player he once was. Injuries continued to play a factor in Wall's time at the Rockets, where he missed out on the entire 2021-22 season due to more knee and Achilles injuries, and this soon prompted another trade. The following season in 2022-2023 saw him be traded to the Clippers. However, due to more lingering issues, the Clippers would waive him to create cap space and accommodate a trade, and he hasn't been picked up by any other NBA team ever since. Although we hope John Wall makes a miraculous comeback, this may be an unlikely scenario, because he's simply been unable to have consistent good health for the past 6 seasons, where he's played less than half the available games every season. Regardless, John Wall's 9 seasons with the Wizards made an imprint on that organization, unmatched by any other player in Wizards history. However, unfortunate circumstances would come up and alter things for the worst. It's no secret that the 2010 NBA draft class has been marked by a lack of longevity, seeing only 2 players remaining from this class 13 years later. And among the 60 players selected, only 11 managed to sustain careers lasting a decade or longer, while the remaining 49 players faced an average career length of just under 5 years. While some of these 49 players were plagued by injury issues, it's evident that the class as a whole was at a disadvantage in terms of talent if we were to compare it to other drafts. In regards to the 11 players with most significant careers, it was only John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, Eric Bledsoe, Avery Bradley, and Hassan Whiteside that experienced above-average NBA careers in overall impact, in addition to active NBA players, Gordon Hayward and Paul George. And although we hope subsequent draft classes won't end up with such a lack of longevity, it can't be promised, because every so often, some draft classes just don't have the combinations of talent and fortunate health to guarantee this. Thanks for watching Sportsphere. Please like the video if you enjoyed it.
Alright guys, that was the end of the video. That was the end of the video. The tragic downfall of the 2010 draft class. We've seen a lot of interesting things in this draft class. If I had to say the person who had the best, obviously I would say Paul George. Paul George is the best player in that class, hands down. If you took away situation, injury, and all that stuff, who do I think had the most potential to be the best? I think DeMarcus Cousins. I think if DeMarcus Cousins didn't get into all that trouble, didn't get drafted by Sacramento, you give him a different situation, he's better than Paul George. But for the situation that he has, I see Paul George is the best. So yeah, we're gonna end the video right there. I'm glad that we got to do this video with y'all. I'm gonna see y'all in the next video.